Have you ever wondered how pilots find an airport, or more importantly, a runway, when there's bad weather or clouds? I'm going to explain something called the instrument landing system. Coming up. Hey 7-4 crew, welcome back. If you don't know me, my name's Kelsey. I'm a 747 pilot. My channel, 7-4 Gear, is all about aviation. So whether you're a pilot or an aviation enthusiast, consider subscribing. In this video, I'm going to explain something called the instrument landing system. And if you've flown a lot, at one point or another you've been looking out the window, it's been cloudy, and then all of a sudden you've popped out of the clouds and immediately landed. And you may have wondered, how are they doing that?
Magic.
There are a few different ways that pilots use to get the planes onto the ground. But the most commonly used everywhere in the world is something called an ILS, Instrument Landing System. I'm going to explain this system, and at the end of the video, I'm going to give you a couple of phrases that you can say to the pilots to thank them for their job getting you down safely. Let's get into it. Most every major airport in the world uses this instrument landing system, and it's something that's set up on the airfield very close to the runway, and it provides a vertical and lateral path for the pilots to fly. In this picture, you see a blue line and a pink line. And in the middle, they create a crosshair. If the pilot is flying right along that crosshair, it means he's going down the exact vertical and lateral path that he should be flying to safely arrive to the runway. If we're properly flying this approach to come in and land, we'll see something like this on our instrument panel. This lets us know that we're flying vertically and laterally on the exact path that we want to be on. However, if we're not flying exactly where we should be, it'll look something like this. This lets us know that we need to make some corrections so that way as soon as we come out of the clouds, we're lined up with the runway. The lateral path, which lets the pilots know if they need to go left or right, is known as a localizer. The vertical path, which lets us know if we need to go up or down, is known as the glide slope. When we're flying that ILS, we're following those instruments, and those are telling us exactly what the aircraft is doing and what path it's on. As soon as we break out of the clouds, we'll transition and start looking again at the runway, and we'll use visual references to get us safely onto the ground. So the next time that you're flying, if you're looking out the window and you're seeing clouds, 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 and then all of a sudden you pop out and a couple of seconds later you land, here are a few phrases that you can say to them to impress them with your aviation knowledge. The first thing you could say is, hey, nice approach. That's what we call it when we're doing that type of landing. When we're using the ILS to come in and land, we call it an approach. So you could say, hey, nice approach, and usually they'll smile and be like, thanks. That's the first thing you can say. If there's not a bunch of people behind you and you want to ask a question, what you could say to them is, hey, how high were we when we broke out? What that is the altitude that the plane was at when the pilots transitioned from their instrument landing system to looking outside. So they may say something like 300 or 400 feet. Usually the minimums that most of the planes will go to is about 200 feet off the ground, but it depends on every airport. But if you ask them that type of question, usually they'll have a response and feel like, hey, you're really interested in what we're doing. And so they'll appreciate that. All right, crew, that's everything that I have to explain the instrument landing system. In the comment section below, I want you to let me know if there's any aviation questions that you really want to know about. And if it's something that I think will be interesting, I might make a video about it. I look forward to hearing from you. Until then, keep the blue side up.